And concerning the things whereof you wrote to me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. But because of fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render his debt to the wife, and the wife also in like manner to her husband. The woman has not power of her own body, but her husband. And in like manner the man also has not power of his own body, but the woman. Defraud not one another, except perhaps by consent for a time, that you may give yourself to prayer, and return again together, lest Satan tempt you for your incontinency. But I say this by indulgence, not by commandment. For I would all men to be as myself, but every one has a proper gift of God, one so, and another so. But I say to the unmarried and to widows, it is good for them if they so abide even as I also. But if they do not contain themselves, let them marry. For it is better to marry than to be burnt. But to them that be joined in matrimony, not I give commandment, but our Lord, that the wife depart not from her husband, and if she depart, to remain unmarried, or to be reconciled to her husband. And let not the husband put away his wife. For to the rest, I say, not our Lord. If any brother have a wife an infidel, and she consent to dwell with him, let him not put her away. And if any woman have a husband an infidel, and he consent to dwell with her, let her not put away her husband. For the man an infidel is sanctified by the faithful woman, and the woman an infidel is sanctified by the faithful husband, otherwise your children should be unclean, but now they are holy. But if the infidel depart, let him depart. For the brother or sister is not subject to servitude in such. But in peace has God called us. For how knowest thou, woman, if thou shalt save thy husband? Or how knowest thou, man, if thou shalt save the woman? But to everyone as our Lord has divided, as God has called every one, so let him walk, and as in all churches I teach. Is any man called being circumcised? Let him not procure prepuce. Is any man called in prepuce? Let him not be circumcised. Circumcision is nothing, and prepuce is nothing, but the observation of the commandments of God. Everyone in the vocation that he was called, and it let him abide. Wast thou called being a bondman? Care not for it, but and if thou canst be made free, use it rather. For he that in our Lord is called, being a bondman, is the franchised of our Lord. Likewise he that is called, being free, is the bondman of Christ. You were bought with price, be not made the bondmen of men. Every brother wherein he was called, and that let him abide before God. And as concerning virgins, a commandment of our Lord I have not, but a counsel I give, as having obtained mercy of our Lord to be faithful. I think therefore that this is good for the present necessity, because it is good for a man so to be. Art thou tied to a wife? Seek not to be loosed. Art thou loose from a wife? Seek not a wife. But if thou take a wife, thou hast not sinned. And if a virgin marry, she has not sinned. Nevertheless tribulation of the flesh shall such have. But I spare you. This therefore I say, brethren, the time is short, it remains, that they also which have wives, be as though they had not, and they that weep, as though they wept not, and they that rejoice, as though they rejoiced not, and they that buy, as though they possessed not, and they that use this world, as though they used it not. For the figure of this world passes away. But I would have you to be without carefulness. He that is without a wife is careful for the things that pertain to our Lord, how he may please God. But he that is with a wife is careful for the things that pertain to the world, how he may please his wife, and he is divided. And the woman unmarried and the virgin thinks on the things that pertain to our Lord, that she may be holy both in body and in spirit. But she that is married thinks on the things that pertain to the world, how she may please her husband. And this I speak to your profit, not to cast a snare upon you, but to that which is honest, and that may give you power without impediment to attend upon our Lord. But if any man think that he seems dishonored upon his virgin, for that she is past age, and if it must so be, let him do that he will. He sins not if she marry. For he that is determined in his heart being settled, not having necessity, but having power of his own will, and has judged this in his heart, to keep his virgin, does well. Therefore both he that joins his virgin in matrimony does well, and he that joins not does better. A woman is bound to the law so long time as her husband lives, but if her husband sleep, she is at liberty, let her marry to whom she will, only in our Lord. But more blessed shall she be if she so remain, according to my counsel. And I think that I also have the Spirit of God.